Welcome, everyone, to the latest edition of our London interviews ahead of London International Shipping Week in September. Very, very exciting. Only a short period of time to go and then calm before the storm, as they say. But today's guest is Dionysios Antonopoulos, who is Vice President of Regional Business Development at ABS. And Dionysios, lovely to see you today. But I must say, first of all, big thank you to ABS for your continued support of LISW over the years. You've been one of those organisations that were really effectively there with us right from the beginning. And it's just so important that when you're running an event like this, that we have the support, I believe, from organisations like ABS. So thank you very, very much indeed for your support over the years and for your time today. And welcome.
Thank you, Sean. For me, it's a big honor having this interview for LISW and looking forward to a good discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just for the listeners, ABS is a global leader in classification services and is focused on delivering a safer, cleaner future for the marine and offshore industries. For over 160 years, ABS has been setting standards for safety and excellence and continues to innovate in the fields of clean technology, digitalisation and artificial intelligence, providing industry-leading technical advisory services. Now, Dionysios, you bring more than 2 decades yourself of experience in the maritime industry. You've held senior roles at ABS in a variety of regions, including Europe, China and South Korea. But now you're based in London and leading business development efforts for ABS in Europe. Welcome, as I said, to today's London interviews. Really, just as a start, could you just give us a bit of a snapshot on the work and the role that ABS conducts here in London and in the region? How does it sort of operate? Because ABS, global operation, major player in global shipping as far as standards are concerned. How does London, this impact, fit into all of that for ABS? Do you want to start the ball rolling on that?
Yes, Sean, actually, ABS, of course, recognizes the importance of London, and this is based on, of course, the history. London, it is shipping center. It has been based on history. It has one of the most important, actually the most important shipping center that has contributed a lot in the maritime industry, in the various sectors. This starting from maritime law, chartering, as well as shipbuilding. ABS, looking also at the futures, sees a very big potential in London. From London, ABS can support various regions in the surroundings of the United Kingdom. ABS has 2 offices in UK, one in Newcastle, that it's the survey department, and one office in the heart of London. And this office includes engineering department that they approve drawings, marketing, which has a very strong function, and also some other support functions. And of course, business development. I am based here in London, but I travel from London to the various regions in Europe.
So just touching on that, Dionysios, I mean, interestingly, you mentioned there with Newcastle, because Newcastle very much sort of connected with engineering expertise over the years, with the shipbuilding many years ago. I think the Swan Hunter shipyard up there and what have you. But you've got surveying and those operations there. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on the sort of the type of work that you're doing out in Newcastle and then also out of London? How is Newcastle still an important marine maritime centre as well?
Newcastle, again, from history, but respecting also presence, it's a location with important in shipping industry, and its geographical position also can support the coverage of a wider region, European region. So we have surveyors from Newcastle attending some surveys in North Europe, for example, Netherlands, or North France. So also we must not forget that northern from Newcastle, it's Aberdeen, which is can be said that it's an offshore hub.
Yeah, I wanted to come on to that because obviously with the marine, the offshore industries there, the areas of focus for you and for ABS. I mean, shipping and maritime is, going through some interesting times at the moment. Putting aside the geopolitical issues and what have you there, you've got this massive sort of drive for digitalisation, for driving inefficiency, decarbonisation, making shipping, bringing shipping, continually into the modern world and driving innovation into this sector. It's a very exciting time Dionysios. I mean, how do you put it into context? Because shipping is fragmented as an industry. You've got companies that are driving forward and companies that are still sort of lagging behind a little bit. Are you excited about the industry at the moment? Do you see massive opportunities, or are there still challenges there for the industry as a whole?
So this is a good question. And what can I say is that there is a reason why some companies go more, they are more, let's say, front runners compared to the others. And generally can be said that the shipping industry is a very, very conservative industry. And this for a reason. And this has to do with how the whole industry is organized. And of course, putting the aspect of safety. A shipping company can be forward thinking, but have a conservative character. If, for example, I can give an example, a shipping company makes a wrong investment decision, then this could have devastating results. So there is a reason why there is conservatism in shipping. And again, I touched the aspect of safety. Okay, and with all these alternative fuels that are supposed to be introduced in the near future, again, the traditional shipping companies, they are very much concerned on the safety aspects. And we as class society are, of course, recognizing this, and we try to support by all means for the future target of alternative fuel ships. It's what we see, it's a big challenge nowadays for, okay, if somebody sees the order book nowadays, you can see that this order book, the current, has a lot of alternative fuel vessels. So we see that nowadays, owners with conservative steps, they go into alternative fuels. We see that the order book is the best proof. But of course, things could move faster, but because it depends, it's not only the ship owners can do their work, but this will not bring results. So the whole industry, let's say the fuel producers, they must also do their investment. So it's a combined effort, and everybody has to do its step.
I was going to say, I had a conversation with a prominent Greek ship owner a couple of months ago about the whole issue of fuels. And he said to me, ship owners are getting so much pressure from the industry to, lead the change and all the rest of it. He said, when I go and buy a car, I get given what is available. If electric cars are available, I have that choice. If it's just diesel or petrol, I have that choice. And he said, it should be down to the car manufacturers and the engine manufacturers to be offering different options, and the same should be in shipping. But I think you're right in what you're saying, in the sense that the one thing that's certain in shipping is the uncertainty of everything when it comes to fuel, infrastructure being one of the issues as much as anything else. But it's certainly something that the industry is really coming to terms with, but throws up a lot of opportunities for quality operators and stakeholders like ABS, I guess.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Just looking at this whole issue of fuels, you've got, I think somebody said to me that about 50% of the ships on order have dual engines, capability, with some camps talking about methanol, some camps talking about ammonia, LNG, hydrogen as well, and nuclear is coming into the debate in a big way. What's the thoughts of ABS on what's going to happen? Is it going to be very much, different fuels for different types of vessels and different types of trades? Is that how you see it?
Yes, if somebody, ABS has worked and has, based on some input we have received, we have some projections about the alternative fuels that will be used in the future. So we have some studies, but of course, as you are aware, it's predicting the future. It's quite challenging, and this is what it seems that many different entities have different, let's say, predictions of the alternative fuels. But what has to be said is that, and this is a fact, is that for every different vessel type, different vessel size, a corresponding alternative fuel should apply. And this, again, we see it with the order book. We see, for example, big tankers, they have LNG, while for smaller bulk carriers, methanol could be an alternative choice and not so much LNG. So this is what has to be said, that for different vessel types, different vessel sizes, different alternative fuels. What we see now, there is a certain, if allowed to be said, trend that LNG has taken, because it's a mature fuel, we see that has taken a big part of the alternative fuel. It is available. It can be considered cheap. There is the infrastructure. And what it has been seen that, for example, big container shipping companies, they select LNG on their big container vessels. Now there are many orders of LNG bunkering vessels that will be able to support the operations of these big container ships.
I think the key element here, again, is infrastructure. Do you think, and the supply? I mean, where do these fuels come from? Do we have enough supply points as well? Is enough being done, Dionysios, do you think, in the industry to square that circle, to deal with the infrastructure, with the supply?
Respecting that it's it's a very, very capital intensive business. Steps are being done slowly and with conservatism. And again, this for a reason. Still there is, I would say, a lot of time required until everything is on an adequate level. And for some cases, for example, some trades of ships, trading in some very, very, let's say, not passing from the shipping hubs, Singapore, Panama, some trades, it will be again very, very difficult to adapt these alternative fuels. So there are big, big challenges, but of course what has to be said is now, for example, with the MEPC 83, this can be said that it made a tectonic shift in a way because it will push for the alternative fuels. It will be the whole, economics will make sense for every step, for every party to make the step forward required. So this is what it appears. Of course, we have to wait MEPC 84, but let's say the guidelines that MEPC has set for the moment, it seems that economics will, allow me to use the word, kick in and push things forward. And for the ship owners and for the land industry to produce the fuels, which again is not easy. It's not shipping. It's very different than land-based application.
No, I think you're exactly right. It is good news, and it shows how agile shipping is to resolve issues, but it can't do it without the intervention of organizations like ABS because of the expertise that you'll be bringing into all of this as well. And so I totally agree with you. I think it's an exciting time ahead regarding fuels. I want to come on a little bit to digitalization and new technologies. This is, again, dominating all of our lives. Not only personally, we see AI coming in all areas, but also within the shipping industry and the maritime sector. Big role that an organization like you will play with your clients is actually supporting them and helping them adjust with those changes. Could you give us an idea as how you do that? When you're reaching out to your clients and your customers and the market in general, what are they saying to you? What do they want, and what are they saying to you when it comes to digitalization and new technology?
Yes, of course, what has to be said that ABS can be said that we try to be a fully digital organization, and we have implemented digitalization. Actually, we try to implement in nearly all internal processes, and this with target more efficient operations. For the shipping industry, digitalization is a key for improving operations with more efficient operations and reduced operating costs. And can be said that in a way, digitalization for the shipping companies, it's something relatively easy to adapt and have some results. We are involved in many, many aspects of digitalization. We cooperate even with different shipyards, major shipyards. But also what has to be said that ABS has ABS Wavesite, which is marine shipping software product. Actually, it's a full marine ERP system that can provide a comprehensive fleet and crew management solution. Last but not least, it has to be mentioned that now with the new environmental regulations and all of the economics related to these environmental regulations, digital solutions are considered mandatory. and of advices, of course. And of course, ABS can support on this.
Yeah, because I think you've also got things like the single maritime window initiatives and things like that coming out of Brussels, as well as the IMO. And you need to have that connectivity between all sectors in order for shipping to be able to deliver what it has to deliver in a digital world. So very exciting. But when you're talking to your customers and your clients, what sort of questions are they asking from you? What sort of advice do they want?
Actually, I would say that the most have to do on emission validation, decarbonization KPIs, regulatory compliance, biofuel support. This is something important we received, and because of the biofuel, the data for CII, EU ETS, and Fuel EU reporting. So these are the most common questions we received. So that's why I mentioned that digitalization and new emission regulations, in a way, go together. So things are becoming so complicated that for sure you need some digital advisory platform to support.
Dionysios, we're only a couple of months away now from London International Shipping Week, and activity is already starting to crank up. It's going to be a very busy week. And as I said right at the beginning of our chat, we're so delighted and very, very grateful for the support that ABS has given to us over the years, really. But why is LSW important to ABS? What will you be looking to derive from the week itself?
Okay, so if allowed, to call London International Shipping Week LISW, I will call it. Yeah, actually, it's important. It's a world-class gathering. It's international. It's not just located for United Kingdom as a country. It's an international event. Actually, it's a gathering of maritime leaders and thinkers that steer and enable the profound change that our industry is facing. So we value this opportunity to connect and learn at LISW that fosters the collaboration and we can say innovation. So that actually is needed for the coming decades. So it's a very, very important event and we are fully supporting and we will be fully supporting such a great event.
That's very kind of you to say so, and really, really looking forward to the week and to catching up with all of you during the week as well, and coming to some of the events that you're going to be holding. Dionysios, I just want to say thank you very much indeed for your time today. It's always a pleasure to talk to somebody like yourself with your depth of knowledge and your insight. It is a very exciting time as far as maritime is concerned. The market is changing so quickly, and really the role being played by the class societies and the top class societies has always been critical. I think that's really, really important. So, but thank you very much indeed for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you during the week. But thank you, Dionysios.
Thank you, Sean, very much.